Greetings from sunny South Florida. It's time for the Palm Beach Podcast. And the hosts of your show, sports chiropractor and athletic trainer, Dr. James Spencer. Photographer and art director, Mike Jones. Recorded live at the Media Zone Podcast Studio in Palm Beach County. Relax and enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Palm Beach Podcast. My name is Mike Jones, coming live from Media Zone on Singer Island in Palm Beach County. Here with my co-host, Dr. James Spencer. How are you doing, Spence?
Always a pleasure, bro.
Hey, absolutely. It's it's always a great time cracking a White Claw and having a great guest in the studio.
Can't beat it.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce who we have with us today?
Yeah, so we got a local legend. I love it.
I appreciate that.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to introduce the Hangry Project.
Okay.
Because that's really why you're here.
Yeah.
And then secondary, we got Brad Gehl here. Welcome, bro.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I know you've said you've been on a podcast before, so you could be like the veteran here because really we've only been doing this for a couple months now.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is my first in-house podcast.
Hell
I've
yeah.
done a couple.
Nice.
I've done a couple over the phone, but I haven't done one where I gotta be in-house and face to face. But I'm about it.
It's about
cool.
the experience, bro.
Yeah, no, it's cool. That's why I came in here and I was like, this setup's nice. I like this in here. Yeah, it's good vibes.
Well, and as someone who is like a small business owner slash, someone in the community, definitely, sharing your message and communication and marketing is very, very important.
Yeah.
Because we know you're doing a lot of great stuff in the community, and even Spence is already all swagged out here.
I know. We got him in a Hangry hat.
Respect.
Yeah, got him in the red Christmas Hangry hat.
So why don't you share a little bit of background about the Hangry Project?
Okay. So yeah, last winter I was basically towards the end of the fall. I just kind of got this idea in my head that I could do a little more. I could do a little more with my time and find some balance in kind of what I was doing with golf and traveling. And I grew up skateboarding. I grew up pretty much anything on a board. And the idea came to my mind that, what if I could help out kids that skate in whatever way, and something I can relate to on the golf course. If I'm on the back nine and I haven't really eaten all day, I start making decisions that I wouldn't normally make, or the lack of food and snacks. If you're in the moment and you're competing, sometimes you forget to eat. And it's something I could relate to. I was like, well, let's see if we can get kids that are in the skateboard community a little more support with food and snacks. That was the basis of the idea. And then it just stuck. It was awesome. It was so organic. It was just like, I can do more with my time. And I really like this idea. It makes sense. And hangry is a word that, you guys keep hearing a little bit. And it's funny that, a friend of mine introduced me to something called the Joy Project way back in the day. Basically, the Joy Project was like you do something once a month for, however long, 12 months, and you just commit to that once a month, whether it's drink more water or sleep more. And I was like, I love that idea, this Joy Project. And then so I was like, well, why don't I start the Hangry Project? And that's going to be my thing that we can do with kids that skate and see getting them some more food. So that was it. And then when I got home, it was late November and I had some time before Christmas, and I was like, first thing I did was I went and I skated a local park down in West Palm called Phipps, and it's right across the street from Hallie's, which is an awesome spot. Yeah, great spot. There's good food down there. And I just went and skated there for like 2 weeks, and I got to know the people that skate there. I got to know the kids a little bit. A guy named Frank that works at park, and just got to know them and kind of the atmosphere at this park, and if it was something that I could support, something that there was a gap to help. And sure enough, I walked in there and I found out their yearly budget, found out that they just had, a soda machine and an ice cream freezer. And that was it. So you've got these kids that are just ripping, and they just nonstop, they're just going, ripping. And they're coming into, there's a little shop, they where you check in, get your helmet. And, they'd be bringing in pizza, McDonald's, anything they get their hands on, they were trying to grab. And I'm like, this is going to work. This is going to work perfect here. So that was my thing. And so I got a fridge, put it in Phipps, started filling up with food. I didn't, once I got the clearance, that was it. That was just the idea. And I just kept filling it up every 2 weeks, going to skate in the park, getting to know the kids, getting to know who's using the fridge. And it was so special to see the reception of it, not only from the kids that were skating, that just they were keeping skating. They didn't have to go grab money for pizza. And then the parents, they didn't have to, worry about their kids getting fed, or when they hopped in the car when they got picked up, that they weren't begging for food or begging for this. They were just they were chill. They got their Uncrustables, they got their snacks, and they were good to go. And it's been really cool to see the progression of the project since then, and see more people be receptive of something that was just an organic idea in my head.
And how'd the logo grow?
The logo is so,
dude, I love it.
It's so funny. I have the piece of paper, like, because I always carry a notebook with me, and I'm always doodling. Like, that's like the start of my days. I make a cup of coffee and I get in front of a piece of paper and I just write, almost to the point where I wake up. It's like 11 o'clock. I was like, oh, I gotta go do this stuff and write it down. But yeah, that's like my thing. So it's funny. I had a cup of coffee and an apple sitting on both sides of the deck, and then I just made it the apple. And then I asked a friend of mine who do some marketing stuff, and I was like, is there an app that I can make this idea in my head? Because I don't know how to do this.
Sure.
And she gave me the idea she gave me the app, and I just started Googling like things in my mind, the apple and the skateboard, and I just pieced it together. I was like, that's it. And the first thing I did is I went on, I got some like $10 hoodies online, and I was like, I'm going to go put this on a hoodie and see who likes it. And it's so cool, like, to see people be receptive of a logo and know that the logo not just stands for, benefiting skateboarding, but it's cool. I like it.
Simplicity sells too.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's I'm a marketing and a branding guy, and it really is like sometimes people like try to overcomplicate things, and I really am a minimalist. I appreciate simplicity and things, and so your logo gets my stamp of approval.
I like it. I mean, it's crazy right now, the fashion and everything. You can get a lot of complex stuff. You can get a lot of looks and shoes that are crazy, got laces all the way up to your knees, but sometimes at the end of the day, like a pair of white Chucks goes,
dude, all day we could
Jordan 1s, black Jordan 1s, white Jordan 1s. Those are the one. Yeah.
And so right now you're golfing, but your brother still skates a lot too, right?
Yeah. So my brother is the skateboarder of the family, because when we both were growing up, he skated, I skated. We'd be the kids like running around, just finding stairs to jump down in. And, I had golf clubs in my hand, and so did he, but we both had skateboards, and he kept skating and I kept golfing.
Interesting.
And it's like, that's just the different path that we went down. But I've seen how close my brother is with his friends and the community that he skates in Chicago, and how supportive they are of each other. Is family. It's incredible. So he was a huge inspiration for this project, whether he knows it or not, is that like that family atmosphere that's within the skateboarding community, that they'll go to bat for them for anything. I mean, it's not about who's good at skating, who's not good at skating. They just support the creativity and that outlet of skateboarding. And so he still skates, and now he's got his company called Everybody's Baby, and he's been doing
love it.
He's been making music videos for a girl named Gia Margaret and a band called Beach Bunny, 2 local artists up in Chicago, and they're awesome.
Hell yeah.
This sounds so good coming out of Chicago.
Hell
now.
yeah.
I love it. With Chance the Rapper, you got guys like Knox Fortune. It's just, it's a really good sound out of Chicago right now.
Good blend.
And it's nice to see, you taking some time out of your day just to give back a little bit, man. Like, a lot of people get bored and want to do stuff, but probably don't come up with an idea that is so impactful to like a local community,
I think it's, and I think that was almost a self-motivator for me, is like, I've got this good idea, let's do something about it. Like I can do something about this if I do it right. I like to work hard, and as I mentioned earlier, it was a perfect balance outside of golf, is because it's a healthy outlet of something I like to do. I like to help kids. Like I like to benefit a community that I love to see. Like I only get to skate so much now with golf, but if I can support that creative outlet, like I'm gonna feel good at the end of the day, and it's awesome.
Well, not only that, the only thing that we really own is our time. So the fact that you're giving that back to help the youth of today is kudos to you. That's why you're here.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, that's I got to give credit to your parents.
Yeah, dude,
truthfully,
I got some great parents. I'm so lucky.
Hell yeah.
And I try and make sure they know it, but like, I tell my dad that all the time, because me and my dad run him up a wall, and or me and my brother all like just run him around like crazy. But I'm like, Dad, you got 2 kids that do what they love unconditionally, and we're still fighting for it. My brother's still fighting to make it in the film business, and I'm still fighting to make it in golf. I'm like, you did all right, even though we might be a pain in the ass. Like you did good.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely kudos to them for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that Spence and I have analyzed as well of some of our goals going forward is to provide a platform for the up and comers.
Yeah.
You know, and like in our discussions about what we want to do here in Media Zone and in Palm Beach County in producing shows and producing podcasts is to give people an opportunity, you know, to learn, to be surrounded with the right people, with the right equipment.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's to see that there's other people out here doing very similar things, you know, it's our turn to give back a little bit, you know,
Totally.
because all three of us wouldn't be here if we didn't have a mentor or a guide or a great parent or whatever it was. So it's cool, you know, pay it forward.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the next round, you know, people need a leg up sometimes to get going in an industry.
Yeah. And that's, you know, that's something like, you know, I think about like with my family in the future someday. It's like everything I'm doing is to make sure my kid someday has the same chance to think the way that I'm thinking and go and do what they want to do. So, you know, if I can do that someday, that's be great. And in the meanwhile, I can go help kids that are skating right now.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about, speaking of nutrition, a little bit about kind of what you experienced, you know, on PGA Tour China.
Yeah. So I did the PGA Tour of China this year after playing a couple of years in South America and just kind of all over really, here in South Florida and then down in South America. And then this year I had some time in February to go do the Q school for China and just wanted to see it. And I wanted to play in a tournament and I was ready to go. I was ready to go. And, it was such an eye-opening week. It was just like I saw things I never thought I'd see, like just cities that just go on for miles and this and that. And speaking to the nutrition of it, the first week I almost went down because I ate too much wasabi.
Oh shit!
Like it's like you want to talk about nutrition. It's like
Lord.
I remember like I grabbed this sushi roll and I put the same amount of wasabi that I put on like when I'm
down here
in Two Vines in Jupiter, and it's the real wasabi. It's not fake. Like it's real, straight from the ground. And I literally I was crying. I couldn't breathe. I kid you not. I could not breathe.
So is that like a compliment to the Chinese?
Maybe
wasabi,
they almost
or
put me in an ambulance. Like,
man down.
Because actually, I know Two Vines for their pizza.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a sushi aspect.
You're kidding. The one next to the hot salt yoga.
I know
place?
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I've never gotten a pizza there.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I thought that was like what it was known for.
It might be. They got a great menu though.
I mean, like Two Vines, like Italian, like isn't that like the tapas Italian?
But they got good sushi too.
No, I mean that's crazy. I haven't gotten sushi because I normally just get like some avocado stuff and then like some sushi. I'm good.
Okay.
Or the pad thai.
Hey.
Pad Thai is always good.
Yeah, that's all. I gotta try the pizza because I'm not gonna discriminate on pizza.
I mean, now that we're on the topic, what are a couple other places in Palm Beach County that you like to go?
Oh,
Where do you frequent?
Where do I frequent in Palm Beach County? All right.
Drinks,
So,
activities, food.
everything. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
love.
Just name drop a few.
Let's name drop a few. You got to start with the Nook. I love the Nook. Great people in
Legendary.
there. Yeah, and then you got Juno Beach Cafe,
Oh yeah,
and those are the breakfast spots that I like.
that's my go-to.
At lunch, Cafe Soleil is so good, and that's right kind of off. What's that? US 1 right there.
Yeah.
right across the pier. Cafe
Like
Soleil.
tri bike run right there,
Yeah.
right?
So if I'm ever got
Couple of friends
if I
there.
ever got a place, if I ever got time to go get lunch, it's a Cafe Soleil. And
like
then as far as dinner, Two Vines is great. Manny is good too. And then leftovers is like that's probably my go-to the most. Leftovers is great.
Leftovers, huh?
And then if I'm gonna grab a nightcap, I'm gonna go to Ralph's.
I love it.
Ralph's, yeah, Ralph's stand-up bar.
Yeah, we did
Awesome.
talk about Ralph's before we went on air today, and I learned about Ralph's. I need to go and discover what Ralph's is all about.
Oh yeah,
Locals only.
Any day
Apparently,
of the week. Any day.
That's
It's open any day of the week. You know, just great people in there. They got a shuffleboard table.
Christmas morning,
and
they're gonna take your money and give you some whiskey, something like that.
That's the best part about it.
Gladly,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah, I love Ralph's, man. It's just good people in there, and it's quiet. It's nice, and they got cold beer.
Talk about
So-
some of the golf courses in the area. What or you know?
Yeah, so I played a place called Jonathan's Landing, and they've got the one in town, and then they got Old Trail out west, and it's a great spot. The pro who actually just got the job, Neil at Dallas National.
Yep.
Brought me and a couple of my old teammates into the course there, and it's been a huge resource for us. Yeah, it's been great. So myself and a couple of the Oklahoma State Cowboys have been able to take games out there and go play at Old Trail, and they just opened a new course. So that's kind of my spot that I'll practice. As far as the other guys go, it's been cool to see the growth of you got Bears Club and Medalist, and those are the spot that a lot of guys frequent. And then the new opening of MJ's course, Grove 23, was really cool because basically,
where's that at?
It's up north. It's kind of it's Hope Sound there. Yeah, Hope Sound. It's basically in a polo field, and it's really cool. They got the clubhouse and then one of the best practice facilities that I've ever seen. And then they got a great golf course with a really cool layout.
What about Drive Shack?
Drive Shack? I've never been to Drive Shack.
Haven't been yet?
No, I haven't been.
PBI.
Isn't that one of the that's like the Top Golf?
Yeah.
Haven't been to Drive Shack yet.
We had a little Media Zone team get together outing the Drive Shack pretty recently.
I like that.
It's cool, man.
That's what I heard.
It's badass. Yeah.
I've always been a driving range guy just because like my patience, and I'm super competitive as well. Like internally, like if I suck at putting, I'm just gonna like take it out on my putter, like. But the driving range was always really fun, and now it's cool to see these places kind of make golf a little more accessible, a little more fun. There's music, drinks.
It's true. Well, they got that new place, Pop Stroke, up north of Hope Sound. I think it might be in Stewart
of Euro.
Yeah, Pop Stroke. It's just like big. It's not like a mini putt course. It's like way bigger, and they've got simulators in there, and they got drinks and a lot of games. So
that's badass.
I know the girl. She's local. That's doing the media for them, and I think it's been kind of cool to see. I haven't gone there yet, but they're growing a really cool brand, and anything that has to do with golf.
Yeah, and shit. That'd be something even too to put into my facility. Something like that, a little simulator.
The simulator's been great. I mean, gosh, you gotta think, we're pretty lucky that we've got such good weather down here, so not everybody has it that way. So simulators they're pretty big everywhere
bonus
else.
Exactly.
I think we have a friend that hits a golf ball pretty far, and with a simulator somewhere in his repertoire. Doesn't
legendary
who's that
legendary guy as well? Brendan Hayden, Coastal Performance.
Oh, at Coastal, I've never worked out with him. I've never been around him, but I've heard
he's a good buddy of mine.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah,
but he digs the ball.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, look,
he's a friend of the Palm Beach podcast as well.
It's crazy how far kids are moving it right now.
Unreal,
like, effortlessly. Wow.
Well, like we were talking about Brandon Matthews.
Yeah, no, Brandon just woke up and hits it 350. Like it's.
On a bad day.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's cool about golf. Kids that you could be seeing playing baseball or basketball or football, starting to want to play more golf. And you're going to have someone that's going to have the build of a basketball player, that's going to have that width, that's going to move the ball 350 effortlessly. You're seeing it with Cameron Champ.
Bingo.
You're seeing it with Tony Finau. It's not going to stop. But the cool thing about golf, and you'll see it this week at Royal Melbourne, I think, is you got a course that's firm. And hitting it far will only matter so much. Being able to land it at 70 yards with the right amount of spin might matter more. So that's not going to discount longer players because they're still going to hit it far. They're still going to have less numbers in. But the game of golf, it's going to be awesome to see those athletes with proper course conditions that you see it firm with tucked pins and good rough. Like the balance of golf going forward is going to be fantastic to see. I'm here for it. I don't think it's not going to be lengthening the courses. It's going to be how are we going to set up the rough? How are we going to set up the pins? How are we going to make the firmness throughout the week?
And I've always been like in awe of the finesse of golf.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like, like get out there and just smash it. Yeah, cool. Like you strong armed it, but like the guys that just can like chip it and the ball rolls backwards and it's just like magic almost sometimes.
It's fascinating. I mean, it's something that doesn't happen overnight. Like you can't fake short game. You have to work at it. And there's guys that have hands. I mean, you see it in ping pong. It's like your buddies or in pool. But the short game in golf, it's fascinating to see what you can do with the ball, especially with softer compressions and stuff like that.
And we actually recently had a son of a legend on the podcast, son of the Shark.
Oh yeah, Greg Norman Jr.
Yeah,
plays a lot of golf.
He does.
Yeah,
and he does a lot of other great stuff in the community as well. And it's just cool. We're seeing a trend of all the people in Palm Beach County that are doing more than their fair share.
Yeah,
that these guys are creating a place for kids to have a fair shot. And you're doing the same thing, you know? And it's inspiring. I know we just chatted on the way up here that maybe there could be a future partnership. And I think that...
Yeah, and that's what's really fun for me right now is seeing what direction we can take this.
Totally.
And I was in Miami the other day skating Lot 11, the new park that opened up there.
Yeah.
I mean, they took a lot under a freeway. And
Do you know Matt Roy?
I don't.
Okay. He was down there filming.
It's really, really, really cool to see. I mean, it's under a freeway. And they built this mecca for skateboarding down there. That's going to have contests, going to support the community, going to have a nice safe haven for kids that want to go skate, even just hang out at the park. And I love seeing that. I mean, I just think it's so cool to see a sanctuary like that just built. I mean, I was nervous going down there to skate. Like, because I can skate, but I'm not the best in the world. I see these guys ripping and I'm like, all right, I'm a little out of place, you know, but I like it. It's really cool to see. And, you know, what Greg Norman Jr. did with that Shark Wake Park's really cool because not every kid can get behind a boat. Not every kid's got an X-Star pulling them. So if you hop on a cable park, you can hit the features that you're seeing and seeing on the films and stuff like that. And I think it's really cool. So I'm actually getting us talking about it to make me want to go.
Well, I think we're going next week. Just throwing that out there.
Man, I know. December's that time of year. I might be able to get away with it. Yeah.
Greg, if you don't have White Claws at the Shark Bar, we're going to be extremely disappointed.
To bring your own White Claw situation.
Yeah.
So give us the scoop for 2020.
So for 2020, as far as Hangry Project stuff goes, we're going to have the nonprofit paperwork settled. And
Beautiful.
That's going to allow us to fundraise more and have more outreach. I'm really looking forward to supporting more parks in South Florida and filling up, whether they have a fridge that we can support or whether we provide a fridge for them. That's kind of what I'm focusing on right now. I know in Lot 11, it's an outside park. So that's something that I have to find a way to support. Because it's tough to put a fridge in an outside area that might not be, you know, enclosed with someone keeping an eye on it. So there's different things that we can do with the Hangry Project to support skating. It doesn't just have to be providing snacks. I mean, it gets really hot in South Florida in the winter. So let's say we put a water fountain down there or something, you know, even on like Fridays, being able to throw some snacks just in a basket for whoever needs it. Things like that are kind of getting my interest going of what we can do in 2020. But what was so good about this year is in the creation of the project was FIPS worked really well. And that was my goal. I want to make FIPS the best it could be for the Hangry Project.
Heck yeah.
Before I started to try and do anything else. And it's really cool to see the flow and progression of the support that the project's gotten at FIPS. So I'd love to find more people that want to get involved with the Hangry Project and more skate parks that I can help in that way. And not just in South Florida. I mean, I know a lot of skateboarders up in New York City, and then my brother in Chicago. There's gaps everywhere for this.
Totally.
And so these communities, these pockets of skateboarders, I mean, it's an Olympic sport now. I mean, even in China, the discussion's going around. How are we going to get kids skating in China?
Correct.
Because it's a very, you know, countercultural sport at times and rough around the edges. But I think that's the beauty in it. And, you know, the skateboarding is bled into so many different avenues. I mean, Supreme's $1 billion company. The fashion industry looks to skaters to find inspiration. I mean, a lot of things are benefiting from kids just being themselves.
Totally.
Just grabbing a skateboard and going and finding even a bench. They could skate it for hours. So,
and
yeah,
that's what makes skateboarding is very accessible. You know, it's like the things that you need are a pair of sneakers and a skateboard, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And you know, like you know, Greg analyzed the gap. Like, shit, not everyone has a boat, but if we put a cable,
I love that.
We can make this more accessible.
That's exactly right.
And you know, so what I like is that kids have a lot of energy and they got to get it out, man. And you know, I feel like our generation probably played outside a lot more than the current generation.
Got you.
Like, shit, my parents would be like, you're not even allowed in the house.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to see you until dinner time. Like, get out of my house.
That's
you know, and like, so we grew up skating and surfing, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So there's always been this like thing where, you know, the skate community has always just been like strong. Like, you would see skateboarding mags at the airport, and I'm like, how the heck does skateboarding, like this underground, like negative connotation sport, like have this? And it really is off networking and relationships and conversations and communication like this.
Yeah,
totally.
It's that the real people that are skaters. Like, I don't know how else to describe, you know.
Well, I love hearing things like guys that grew up skating that I would no idea. Like yourself, I didn't know you skated, but you're like, I grew up skateboarding, but you're in a button down now with a, you know, a leather watch, and I'm like, I wouldn't know you skated, you know. But it's like, that's what's awesome about it, because you miss it and you want to go skate, and that's something that like I miss going and snowboarding. I miss going and skating. It's not something I get to do every day.
Well, you can't skate now because as much, because if you got injured, and it was a detriment to your golfing career.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like it talks about, as far as 2020 goes, the balance of the Hangry Project and my professional golf career. It's been so beneficial for me in my mindset and understanding that what makes you happy at the end of the day is not always just holding the trophy, but how you got there. And it's cool to see the balance that has played out in my life this year in 2019, because there were times where I was sitting there, I was like, man, did I bite off more than I can chew this year? You know, am I going to be able to get through this project? Am I going to be able to flip this order of clothes? Like, am I going to be able to do this? And am I going to be able to keep that fridge full like I promised, and things like that? So there were definitely times when I was kind of like, might have bit off more than I can chew. But those are kind of the times that you realize, like, you got time. There's 168 hours in the week, and you can figure out when to get it done.
Well, shoot, I'm going to just go ahead and speak on behalf of the other two co-founders of Media Zone.
Yeah.
Our buddy Anthony and Spence, who partnered in this project with me.
Yeah. But
I would like to donate some time to your project.
Oh, dude, totally. Thank you. Yeah.
I would love to have you guys in the studio.
That's huge.
Come in once a month, man.
Yeah.
Film some stuff. Get some kids in here.
Oh, that'd be awesome, man. No, I appreciate that. That's huge.
I'm sure that the other two co-founders would sign off on that one.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, I got a kid named Noah that uses our fridge and skates at Phipps, and he was just crushing it. They did a contest, a lot 11. I'm like, they gotta get this Noah kid aboard. The kid's gonna be pro. He's good. And you know, Zion, kid that skated Abacoa Park in Jupiter, is now out skating. He's pro, and a lot of kids look up to what he's doing in this area. And I mean, he rips. Yeah. So I appreciate you offering your time that.
I mean, like, my origins of media production started with skateboarding and surfing, you know?
So cool. Yeah.
I used to like skate along with the follow cam behind my buddies. You know what I'm saying?
I always laugh. I'm like, you guys make clips with iPhones now. Like, we had like this, I remember we had this like box looking white camera that would just get trashed in the snow.
Are you ready for our first water housing?
What's a water housing?
Yeah. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So
like
we're
a protective case.
Water housing. Yeah. I thought this was like an activity.
So water housing. So our first water housing was a metal ammo box that was waterproof.
Oh my God, and you cut a hole in there or something?
We cut a hole in there through the steel. Plexiglass on there.
It weighed like 30 pounds.
That was our first wakeboarding water housing.
Oh yeah, wakeboarding. I don't even know how we got it. I think it was all from the boat.
Yeah.
But I've got old footage of me taking like an old wake skate that we cut down.
Love it.
And it's cool to see what wakeboarding's done in the last 20 years. I mean, I remember I started wakeboarding because a board washed up on our pier one day.
That's awesome.
We didn't know what it was. And like our parents just had us skiing in Solomon, and then we all got pretty good at wakeboarding. And then wake skating came out. I don't even know the tricks they're throwing down now. Yeah. So that's my background. And a lot of that stuff it's funny. Golf has been, it's like something I very much love to do, and it's very competitive, and it's awesome. It's so fun. It's given me, you know, a career that I've been able to sustain, and it's funny because like you guys are taking me down memory road talking about wakeboarding, wake parks, skateboarding. Yeah, it's good.
Well, it's cool to see, like, you know, I haven't said this yet, but even my logo, the bearded kettlebell, that was something that was influenced a lot of who am I? What did I grow up doing? And I always remembered Flip.
Okay.
They always had the best shirts.
Yeah.
Everything was just like eclectic about it. It was vibrant. And I'm like, fuck, I always had to get the next one.
Got you. Yeah.
And that's what I was like, how can I do something that's very similar to that? So to see how skateboarding has influenced all of us in our careers.
Yeah.
It's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Everything from the music I listen to now.
Totally.
To the respect I have for my brother when he creates his films, and like the sequences and the frames that he has are, I mean, we'll go back to like the Sideways video that we used to watch with the Hyperlight guys back in the day. And I'm like, Matt, you use that same song. And he's like, that song's the best.
That's
It's
the best
like
song,
we
yeah.
learn, like there's bands that I listen to now because of the wakeboard. I mean, there's so many songs that like I will not hit skip on because it takes me to
Totally.
the best one's M Ward. I think it was Sean Murray's part in it was filmed at Radar Lake, and like if this ever gets back to Sean Murray, that'd be legendary. But like that band's song Out of My Head.
So I know Sean.
Do you?
Well, we can make it happen.
Yeah. So that's awesome. But anyway, his part, M Ward song, I still listen to that now when I'm traveling. It slows everything down. It takes me to his scene at Radar Lake, and I've never been there or anything, but I'm like, it's just the nostalgia of that is awesome. But it all comes from just doing what you love and filming and creating, you know, just being you. And Sean's just out wakeboarding and someone's filming and creating, putting jams to it.
And thanks for sharing your story, because I think that regardless of like the topic, whether it be skateboarding, it could be cooking, it could be anything, that like you analyzed that there's, you know, something out there that you wanted in fulfillment and that was going to drive you and keep you going, right?
Yeah, that's 100% correct.
And so I hope that our listeners and the viewers can, you know, relate to your story and be like, you know, I can do something like that. I can give back in my little way.
And that's what's really cool. And the parents that drop their kids off at the park is something that was I didn't expect to be so well received. Like I wasn't even thinking about them, but the pressure it takes off of them when their kids come home and they've had some snacks. Well, like, crazy the support.
How is that the first time, like the fulfillment of the first time filling the fridge?
I'm trying to think if I have like a good story for it when I first was like, wow, like this is actually
like that's
working.
impactful right there.
Dude, even probably just seeing like a kid smile and just eating, like
they just rate, I think they just love it. Like they just, I think one of the coolest things, we did a photo shoot. We had this girl named Shay Babb up in Jupiter, who's an unbelievable photographer, and she's doing some incredible stuff. And we had this conversation at Perk, by the way. Perk's a great spot, the coffee house up there. We had this conversation.
Double name dropped in one sentence.
Oh yeah,
Shay and Perk.
And so I can keep going. So but we had this conversation. She does a lot of stuff with influencers and does a lot of stuff in the new age Instagram advertising. She's like, I've always wanted to do something more. And she told me, I'm not going to tell you the project she's working on because it's in the works, but she was like, I'd love to do a photo shoot with the Hangry kids, and I'd love to just go shoot the kids someday when you fill up the fridge. And I thought that was going to be an amazing help to us. And she basically took a clothing rack and just like locked up all of our Hangry clothes. And it was funny because like I got a bunch of smalls, but I didn't realize that like even the smalls were gonna be massive on the kids. I gotta get kid sizes. So, but I just lined up a bunch of clothes.
You learned, bro. You learned.
But it was awesome. So like what he did is I told the guys at the park, like, we're gonna be here with a rack of clothes. We're gonna get a bunch of food. And Shay's gonna come. She's gonna take pictures. And Shay came down and I set up the rack in these kids, rated the food. I mean, I said, I don't care what you're doing. Just go skate, have a Hangry, get the hat. Whatever you do, you can take. Just throw it on, you take it, because you're going to get all sweaty in it anyway. And we just like, the kids were so happy. It's having their picture taken.
Love it.
With Shay, you know, with the logo on. They got apples. They're throwing apples at each other. They're just going crazy. They're just being themselves. And like, looking back at these pictures, and we've got like 100 pictures from that day, and I even brought one of my best friends, Drew Page, keeps calling himself the talent because he thinks he's a model now. And it's like, but you know, speaking on that, like that day, Drew called me a little while afterwards and was like, that was really fun. Like that meant something. Like that's
cool.
That was really cool to see what you did with those kids, and I want to be a part of it. And I was like, nah, man, like, it's just, I appreciate your help. He's like, I'm dead serious. Like, this is cool what you created. I felt good about what we did, and I want to do more. And I thought that little spark that I put in Drew that I never thought I could was just like, yeah, I know, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it
cool
now.
shit,
So,
bro.
and I hope that, you know, if anyone's out there listening, like, this project's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to get better. And there's so many ways that you can support it, and you can support anything that you love, whether it's golf, hockey, baseball, wakeboarding, and what Greg Jr.'s doing. It's a lot of cool stuff, and it's fun to see ideas that come from organic places continue to grow and do good stuff. Yeah.
Well, shit, man. Is there anyone that you want to shout out? You want to thank?
No.
Come on, you got to thank some people who helped you Who helped you get to this place?
You know, I think we actually, it was nice you brought up my parents, because that's a big one.
Good.
It really is. And my brother too. My brother's really, he's in the weeds right now. He's like grinding. He's trying to get his name out. And there's a lot of people down here in South Florida, you know, Frank at the park, Jimmy over at Postmodern, and guys that have supported the project and are wanting to do more with it. It's just awesome. I mean, it's cool to see. Like you guys said, we go down nostalgia when we start talking about skateboarding, because we don't get to do it. We got to do real stuff, you know. Yeah, we got to go get in the gym. We got to go play golf. We got to go create content. It's all stuff that takes us away sometimes from our creative outlets. But if you get 20 minutes to go hop on a skateboard, it's going to take you right back down that road.
And it's almost embracing your inner kid.
Yeah.
You know? And that's something that for me, like, I'm a beach guy, and like just something about being on the beach is like you just feel like a kid, like playing in the sand, and there's not enough of that in the world, you know?
It's balance. And what it does is it makes you work harder at what you got to do. You get refreshed, and you get refocused, and then you get to work, and then it allows you more energy to do what you got to do. That's been my thing.
Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on the Palm Beach
this
podcast.
is awesome. This is awesome. I appreciate you guys
Been
having
a pleasure,
me on,
man. Been a pleasure.
Offering me a White Claw, taking me back. That's more nostalgia right there. too many memories. I'm not going to share the stories from these guys from, but no, it's good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's just a hop and a skip around the corner from you too, right?
Yeah. So you talking about the park?
Well, where you live?
Oh,
in Jupiter,
yeah.
right?
No, I'm right here. I'm right here in Jupiter.
Good.
We do a lot of our work in West Palm. We're going to do a lot of our work in Delray, and we're going to continue to support these little pockets of skateboarders and these little families, these kids that have each other's backs, because that's what we're all about.
Well, maybe you can start a little podcast or something to help raise some awareness. Or
I like it.
We'll be in touch with you, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
you know, we want to be a platform for businesses and people that are giving back and doing good. And shit, man, you're the poster child right now for skateboarding in Palm Beach County.
Hell yeah.
Really
I
cool.
like that. And I appreciate you guys supporting what I do, because it's crazy. I never thought I'd be in the room talking about the Hangry Project, because last year it's just an idea of here, and then it's
cool
crazy
shit.
wearing on your head right now. It's awesome. It's dope. So
Hey,
it's
man.
cool, man.
Well, boys, cheers.
Cheers. Thank
And
y'all so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
until the next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank
boys.
y'all.